The Coding for Veterans Career Caravan is on the road again. Tina, now with the program to retrain our vets.
Jeff Musson is the Executive Director of Coding for Veterans. Thanks for joining the feed, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity.
Tell us about the Coding for Veterans program.
Yeah, so Coding for Veterans is a program that helps Canada's military veterans retrain for jobs in Canada's tech sector, both in cybersecurity and software development. And the program is delivered 100% online through the University of Ottawa.
Is it a Ontario-only program?
No, it's open to any men and women from Canada's military from coast to coast, because when it's delivered online, the opportunities, as long as you have a strong internet connection and a desire for a career in tech, you can take the learning anywhere.
So is this the first time you've gone national?
Yeah, so it's interesting. With our Coding for Veterans Career Caravan, it is the first time we've gone national, but it's built upon a career caravan that we did last year. And the reason why we are, going from coast to coast, visiting various cities, military bases, is prior to COVID, we would end up going to Canada's military bases and specifically their job fairs. They now obviously have been shut down because of COVID. So we partner with Canadian Legions across the country in order to deliver the message and opportunities to enroll in our program directly to military veterans in a socially distanced manner.
So is the career caravan almost like a recruitment tour?
Yeah, absolutely. A recruitment tour, a promotion tour, and there's really two targeted markets for it. Number one, obviously military veterans, but also employers, because employers also should, be aware of the value that someone who served in our military can bring to their organization. And what's great is that our program has really expanded this past year to now we have included military spouses and family members within our cohort. And where Veterans Affairs has paid for the tuition for military veterans to enroll in our program, we actually went back to our corporate partners, and they are paying the tuition through bursaries for military veterans, spouses, and family members to be in the program, because in Canada, we have a shortfall of about 147,000 IT jobs that are projected to go unfilled in the next 12 to 18 months.
Well, that's terrific, and especially because we've heard, because of the pandemic, there is a greater need or call for IT specialists.
Yeah, and we see that demand continuing to grow as more, people have now permanently started working from home. The demand for IT software, cybersecurity specialists has increased. And what's interesting is, we look at the program and the opportunities for the men and women in our military, we like saying they went from protecting Canada on the battlefield to now doing it in cyberspace. And so it makes for a nice transition to civilian life for these men and women that have served in uniform.
Well, speaking of transition, then, how many men and women leave the armed forces every year, and how do they transition to that civilian life?
Yeah, so every year between 8,000 and 10,000 people leave the military. And as part of that transition, some will just retire. However, the vast majority still have a lot of their working years ahead of them. And typically in the past, a fit, for someone leaving the military would be going into policing or going into security guard or what have you. What we are saying with our Coding for Veterans opportunity is when you look at the soft skills that someone from our military has, things like attention to detail, leadership, teamwork, those are the soft skills that the most successful people in the IT industry have. And so really the whole premise on the program is can you identify out of those people leaving the military who want a career and have an aptitude for a tech, sector job, and then partner in with the University of Ottawa in which to deliver the curriculum and to start filling the open jobs that are in Canada in the tech sector.
And do you hear from the graduates of this program, what do they share about the program or their lives outside the military?
Yeah, so what's been interesting is we've now had a number of graduates leave our program. And what's interesting is that a couple of them have actually came back as instructors now in our program, which is kind of cool. And then others out there, they're very thankful. And meanwhile, we should be thanking them for doing the service, but they had never contemplated a career in IT until they heard about our program. And now they're able to support themselves and their families in good paying jobs. And they also, especially in the area of cybersecurity, still have a sense of mission, which really allowed them or was the impetus for them to join the military to protect Canada, and they can still continue to do that, but in the cyber area.
And Jeff, what about for you? Why did you want to be involved in this program?
Yeah, so what was interesting is I actually come from the tech sector. And, and in fact, I own a software company, so I'm acutely aware of the shortage of talent in this sector. And it was, through that, firsthand knowledge that I wanted to be able to bring a solution to the table to start helping, the tech ecosystem. And what's interesting is when you actually looked at those men and women from our military, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to provide them and their families an ability to earn a good salary with a career that has a longevity. And quite frankly, we talked about it earlier, these jobs have increased. And so when you look at the pandemic and how it's really decimated of various sectors out there, the tech sector has survived, and not only survived, but growing. So what I get out of it is really an ability to, bring people together with a common cause and in a way thank our men and women of the military for their service by helping them transition into stable civilian employment.
So here we are, the weekend before Remembrance Day. Where is the next stop for the Coding for Veterans Career Caravan?
Yeah, so for the past 2 months, we have actually traveled across Canada from coast to coast and have stopped in at just about 30 different locations. We will be wrapping up the Career Caravan in Ottawa on Remembrance Day. And I can't think of a more fitting place in which to conclude our caravan tour, but in our nation's capital, thanking the men and women who have, sacrificed for our country.
Jeff, if our listeners want more information, where can they find it?
Yeah, they can go to our website, www.codingforveterans.com, or they can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram as well.
Jeff Musson is the Executive Director of Coding for Veterans. Thanks for joining us on The Feed.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity.